What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, and today we're going to be taking a look at another one of the prospects that the Giants drafted in the 2022 NFL Draft. This time, we're taking a look at Micah McFadden, fifth-round pick. This is a perfect player to fit into Wink Martindale's defensive scheme. Of course, the New York Giants kind of just redoing their entire coaching staff this offseason. They fire Joe Judge. They bring in Brian Daboll as the head coach, Mike Kafka as the OC, and they get a very experienced and aggressive defensive coordinator in Don Wink Martindale. And Don Wink Martindale is known for blitzing. He is known for bringing the heat, bringing the pressure at all times. And we'll go into some stats talking about his blitz percentage, but let's talk about Micah McFadden, because him as a prospect, he was a fifth-round pick. He was a day 3 prospect. The consensus across the board was that he was a day 3 pick, but the Giants drafted him on day 3 to be a perfect scheme fit for Wink Martindale's defense. But him as a prospect, he's not perfect, but he does have some glaring strengths to his game. He also does have a couple of weaknesses, but the strengths are absolutely there. First off, he is a phenomenal athlete. Now, if we take a look at his relative athletic score, it's a 9.47. And the relative athletic score is this score, athletic testing on a scale of 0 to 10. And it takes their size grades, their explosion grades, their composite agility grades, and their composite speed grades, and it bases all of that off of the combine, their performance there, and what they measured out as. So takes all of that, puts it into a score, basically seeing where do they rank in comparison to all of the other linebackers that have gone through the NFL scouting combine, or any prospect if you're doing it from another position. But Micah McFadden ranked really highly, 130th out of 2,419 linebackers from 1987 to 2022. So the reason why he ranked so highly is because he got elite scores in the composite speed grade and the composite agility grade. His composite size grade and his composite explosion grades were good. He's 6'1", 240 pounds, and he put up 21 bench reps. So, he's a little short for a linebacker, actually. His score there is pretty low, and, knowing what linebackers are typically sized at in the NFL, he is a little short at 6'1", but the 240 pounds is definitely a good thing. And he definitely runs like he's a lot lighter than 240 pounds. He ran a 4.63 40-yard dash with a crazy 1.54 10-yard split. Now, when I take a look at linebacker prospects, do I really care what their 40-yard dash is if they can run 40 yards straight fast? No, but their 10-yard split, now that I do care a whole lot about, because that's basically from your linebacker position into the backfield to get to the running back. 10-yard split, what is it? He has an elite 9.81 grade for a 1.54 10-yard split. Truly phenomenal. And his composite agility grades, as I mentioned, are really solid. Shuttle, 4.15 seconds. 3-cone, 6.88 seconds. Both of those were really high grades on the relative athletic score. So when you take a look at what the Giants did on day 3, though, if you look at all of their prospects that they drafted, they valued athletes. They went after people who were players who they thought were really supreme athletes that could also fit into their schemes. So what they found with Micah McFadden is an elite athlete who's a perfect scheme fit. And that's what we're going to get into right now, because the scheme fit into Wink Martindale's defense is truly perfect. If you take a look at Micah McFadden and his stats throughout his career, he had an that was the Ravens had their injury-filled 2021 season. We'll talk about them right now. We'll talk about their blitz percentage. In 2018, under Wink Martindale, they blitzed the most out of anybody in the NFL at 39.6%. In 2019, they were also first at 54.9%. 2020, they were first, 44.1%. And this past year, they took a little bit of a step back, but they were still sixth place with 31.1%. And the reason why they took a step back is because they were injury-filled. They had a lot of injuries in 2021. But Wink Martindale still brought the heat. He brings that at a very high percentage. I mean, looking at 2019, blitzing almost 55% of the time. That's pretty incredible. But when you take a look at what Micah McFadden did in college, that's perfect. That's great news to him, because he was very much a blitzing off-ball linebacker. In college, Micah McFadden had 96 total pressures and 14 career sacks for Indiana. I mean, that is a very high number. Of course, 14 sacks, 96 pressures, and he was used in all of Indiana's pressure packages in a variety of ways. He was used very versatile, because he also has the ability to make an impact as a run defender. He's not the worst in coverage, but he's definitely not the best. I definitely don't think you want to see him in man coverage. Zone coverage, he can be a little bit decent because he's got that agility, but his instincts in man coverage are not there. I definitely don't think the Giants are going to utilize him in man coverage very frequently, but he could make an impact sometimes in zone coverage. But primarily, the way that Micah McFadden will be used is in those blitz packages that Wink Martindale loves to dial up, because he is a phenomenal blitzer and he's very athletic. So he knows how to get to the quarterback and he can do it very quickly. Because if you take a look at his stats, and we'll go ahead and pull them up here, take a look at his stats. In 2021, he played 12 games, 738 snaps. He racked up 58 total tackles, and he did miss 16, which is kind of a high number. This is according to Pro Football Focus. He has a pretty high number of missed tackles, so maybe that's something that he does need to work on. But for his, fit into the New York Giants defense with Wink Martindale, it's the blitzing that makes him very valuable. The fact that they blitz so frequently, and he had a 92.0 pass rushing grade according to PFF. Now, that is the highest grade of any linebacker from the collegiate football season in 2021. He had the highest grade out of any of them. And if you take a look at highest pass rush grades, he's above Leo Chenal, is another player that we discussed pre-draft on this channel. Leo Chenal had a 92.7, and Micah McFadden had a 92.9 since 2020, which is higher also than Devin Lloyd, Nakobe Dean, and Jack Sanborn, some of the other top prospects in this year's class. So he was the best pass rushing linebacker in this year's draft class. So it makes sense that the New York Giants went ahead and drafted him, considering how much they plan on blitzing this upcoming season under Wink Martindale. Now, there's also a lot to say about his similarity to Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez also is a great blitzing off-ball linebacker, phenomenal run defender, but when he was in Green Bay particularly, they used him in a lot of various blitz packages and use him a lot as a blitzer. So you kind of see where the Giants are taking a look at Blake Martinez. He's linebacker 1, but can we get somebody opposite of him, number 2 linebacker, who can kind of do things similar to him in case Blake Martinez gets injured again? Hopefully not. But if he does, can we get somebody else to step in and play a very similar style? And can we also complement his style with having 2 really good pass rushing linebackers? And that's kind of what they found with Micah McFadden. Micah McFadden, again, very similar playing style to Blake Martinez. And I do think that he has a chance to make an impact from day one as a rookie as the starting linebacker next to Blake Martinez. Now, in that 3-4 defense, of course, 2 outside linebackers, which are your edge rushers, those are your pass rushers, and then 2 inside off-ball linebackers. Those inside linebackers are very important in a 3-4 defense in terms of, plugging gaps in run defense. And then also, if you're playing a really blitz-heavy scheme, there's going to be some stunts with the edge rushers and the linebackers, and there's going to be a lot of blitzes up the middle. The linebackers need to, in Wink Martindale's defense, have a well-rounded skill set in terms of run defense and also in terms of pass rushing. So when you're taking a look at what Micah McFadden brings to the table, again, he is a perfect scheme fit for what Wink Martindale is trying to do. There's a bunch of glowing reviews of him. Everybody did agree that he was a day 3 pick, but here's one from Mike Renner of PFF. His 92.0 pass rushing grade, led the entire country for the off-ball linebacker position. He seeks out contact. He is a true stack shed linebacker. There is no finesse to his game, but he can win in a number of different ways as a blitzer. He is the most experienced pass rusher from the linebacker position in the class. He is quick to key screens with enough speed to beat blockers to the spot. And again, that's where that 10-yard split is coming in. He's a smart player, so he can recognize when there's a screen pass out wide, and he can get there quickly enough to shut it down. And that's something that I really like. Doesn't have the ideal burst to close, so I guess that's something that, maybe that might be where the missed tackles are coming from. A lot of plays left just outside his reach. Short wingspan relative to height will be tougher to separate off blocks in the NFL. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. He has short arms, and it might make it difficult for him to shed blocks in the NFL. And that also might be a reason why he had some missed tackles in 2021. Maybe the short arms made it a little bit hard for him to reach some of these running backs and receivers that he was tackling. So I don't know, just something to keep in mind there. But their bottom line for him was any blitz-heavy scheme should have McFadden high on their board. If not, there are likely better options elsewhere. So the reason why the Giants had him on their board is because they run a very blitz-heavy scheme. I mean, that's kind of the perfect summary right there. Bottom line, any blitz-heavy scheme should have McFadden high on their board. Well, the Giants are likely going to be running the most blitz-heavy scheme this upcoming season. So McFadden had to be higher on their board than he was for most other teams around the league, and they got him. And that's really good because they got a developmental day 3 prospect who fits perfectly in the Wink Martindale scheme. So if Wink Martindale is here for a long time, you can bet yourself that Micah McFadden is also going to be here for a long time, going to be developing and turning into a very solid pass rushing off-ball linebacker, which is exactly what the New York Giants need. Again, he's a phenomenal athlete, very elite. He's got a lot of speed and agility to him, but he also has a lot of experience as a pass rusher. He was a starter for more than one season over at Indiana, I think 3 years. And he made a really solid impact on that defense. I'll see if there's any other interesting stats I can pull up right here. But this is a player that I think that the Giants found who can kind of be a gem for them in the middle rounds or the late rounds, really, because it was a day 3 pick, 5th round pick with Micah McFadden. And again, I think that he's going to be a starter in day 1 in this year's defense. So I think when you take a look at what Micah McFadden brings to the table as a pass rusher, it's very important to Wink Martindale, and it will actually help him out significantly getting on the field as early as his first season. Because, when you can do more than one thing, he's not just, a run defending linebacker. He is a pass rushing linebacker, but that is something that can be utilized in very unique ways. They need to sub specific people on to have their pass rushing package out there. And Micah McFadden will see the field because of that. It's kind of like, if you remember, Ryan Connolly a few years ago, who had a really versatile skill set, but he also had that very high 10-yard split. Kind of reminds me of him. Of course, injury derailed his career, unfortunately, and he's no longer with the New York Giants, even though we all really liked him. But he had a very quick 10-yard split, and he knew how to get after the quarterback, which provided him with a lot of value in that 5th round. Now, Micah McFadden, very similar. 5th round pick, really speedy, great pass rusher. I could see him panning out for the Giants in a really great way, especially considering the fact that he is a perfect scheme fit in Wink Martindale's defense. But that's pretty much the summary on Micah McFadden, why I think he's a perfect fit in Wink Martindale's scheme. Again, the pass rushing ability, the athleticism, all of that is right there. Micah McFadden has all of that in abundance. And when you take a look at the stats for the Baltimore Ravens defense under Wink Martindale, you know that Wink Martindale is going to be blitzing a frick ton this upcoming season, and Micah McFadden will be seeing the field a whole lot because of that. I think that he can definitely be the starter next to Blake Martinez this upcoming season. So make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video. Comment below. What do you think of Micah McFadden? Good pick, bad pick? Maybe you don't like it as much as me. Do you think you got a stat prediction out there? How many sacks is he going to get this season? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss a video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.